I'm going to try to make today's topic as simple as possible because it is not a very sexy topic, like talking about gimbal, talking about drones, any of those exciting stuff. But I guarantee you that if you watch this video till the end, I am going to be equipping you with sound design techniques that are the most surest way to make sure that you change the dynamics of how your audience are going to be able to perceive or react to your work. Sound design is absolutely everything. And how I like to approach sound design is that I divide it into several layers. I usually deal with music, ambience, risers, swooshes, and Forleys. These are the 5 basic layers I usually work with when it comes to sound design. Sound design is so important, and without this, your films are going to look so much incomplete or are going to look so much amateurish. Here is an example of music. Right. So that is music. It's just generally to spice up the whole video. And this is also an example of an ambience. Let's turn this whole place into the middle of a city. You kind of get the idea. Just look at how immediately it felt like we're in the middle of the city just by using only sound and not the visuals. This is also an example of a riser. What is behind the camera? It's just a drink, guys. But you kind of get the idea. That is how a riser actually works. It's actually used to accentuate or build up movements before the main impact or before a major incident happens within your video. The next thing is swooshes. This is most often used during transitioning from changing from one scene to the other or in vice versa. Let me show you an example of a swoosh. Right, so that right there is a swoosh. And to the last one, which is Forleys. Now, Forleys are like things that you can visually see in the scene that is actually happening within the scene. So let's say, for example, this could be Foley. Right, footsteps, right? So that could be someone just walking in the video. So when you add this, it gives it this kind of larger than life. Your videos are going to become top notch. Now, instead of just telling you this, let me show you or let me illustrate this with our recent video that I posted on this channel, which is about the photographer who quit social media in order to become a champion within his community. So I'm going right into my computer to show you all the various layers that I used to achieve or that I used to create that video. But if you haven't watched that video yet, I promise you that there might be some spoilers in this video, so kindly pause this particular video and go back and watch that one. I'm going to link it up there, so just go ahead and watch it before you come back to this video. So straight away, I have it opened here in Adobe Premiere Pro. So this is how the whole comp looks like. I actually have a synced sequence over here, and I have just the interview alone separately. And also I have the final look here. Now, if you realize, this sync sequence is where I sync all the files because I actually record the video separate and record the audio separate. So this sequence is just where I kind of sync everything. And so here is just dealing with the interview and bringing in the B-rolls. And this side is a final look. This is how it looks like finally. So how I love to approach the sound design for this film, or how I went about creating the sound design for this film, is that all these layers you see on the timeline have different purposes. So I'm going to let me open this so that you kind of see what is happening. So if I solo this layer, you realize that this is just only dialogue. This is just the voice. This is just the voice of the character talking.
That's a story. All you need is a medium to express it.
So you kind of get the idea. So this is just only dialogue. Now in this next layer, this is the music layer. This is strictly music, nothing more, nothing else. Now, there is no right or wrong way of adding music to your video. You just have to be sure that that particular music kind of accentuates the kind of emotions that you want to elicit from your audience. So I went ahead to add this particular music, and this is the music layer. So let me play it. Yeah, so you kind of get the idea. So that is strictly just the music part of the video playing. So the next particular layer I have here, are the ambience. And now this is a very important component. Let me bring back the video over here. So how I like to approach ambience is that I look at the video and ask myself, what is likely to be happening in this scene? For example, in real life, if you were to have very powerful ears to be able to hear everything within the scene, what are some of the things that you are going to be hearing? And now, of course, that is certainly going to be inspired by the visuals. What am I looking at? And if I'm seeing these things in real life, what kind of sounds are these things going to be producing, or what kind of surrounding sounds it's likely to be there? In this particular circumstance, you see that we have the cows in the background. So it's obvious that in real life, when you see a group of cows, they are definitely going to be mooing. You will hear the mooing sound. So here, what I quickly did was that in my ambience, I quickly made sure that I had the mooing of cows over there so that it will sound like once we were filming, the cows were mooing, but that wasn't actually the case. Then also, I realized that it's in the middle of almost the forest or middle of nowhere. So I did realize that at least you have some bird creaking sounds and all those kind of sounds going on to add up to the whole emotion. So let's just play it with just this particular layer, and you listen to how it kind of feels like. So as you can see, that is just it adds up to the whole kind of mood and ambience that is happening. Trust me, without these things, the film is going to look or sound really incomplete. So that is my first ambience layer. The next layer, it's also an ambience layer. So let me solo this. Let me take this off, solo the next layer. So now let's play through the next layer and you see. So you kind of get the idea. That's just a moving of cows, and it does add up to the whole surroundings. If I play the original video, it doesn't have all these ambient sounds. It doesn't have, footsteps. It doesn't have all these other sounds that you are hearing. When all of these things come together, it helps to give it a very concrete or a very professional or a very polished look. So after this particular layer, we have 2 extra layers here. So let me turn this off and play this. The next layer, you see. So that is extra moving of the cows that I've kept in that particular layer. And this last layer you can see here is a combination of all of these, because once I'm done, what I do is I open the whole project, or I take the whole project to Adobe Audition, and that is where I kind of lower it, because if these are ambient sounds, they need to be a little bit lower than the voice, or let's say the dialogue layer has to be a little bit louder so that we can hear it very well. Then we can hear the moving of the cows a little bit. Then we can hear the ambience a little bit also lower in the background. So I take it out of Adobe Premiere Pro, and that is where I go to do all the volume leveling to make sure that everything is kind of leveled and sounds really good to your ears. So trust me, without these things, your film will look really, really empty. And so this particular layer is the final layer that I brought back from Adobe Audition, where everything has been kept together. So this is actually what you heard in the video. So let me play that on that layer.
Every human has a story. All you need is a medium to express it. For me, photography gives me that great opportunity.
So basically, that is it. That is how I go about designing sound for my videos. This is a very simple process, and I hope I did manage to make this as lovely as possible, because I know sometimes some of these kind of topics might be very boring. And if you did watch this tutorial to this time and you are not subscribed to this channel, I'm sure that is the universe telling you to subscribe to this channel, because on this channel, we talk about cinematography, photography, editing, and all its related branches. Thank you so much for stopping by. And if you do want me to create a detailed video in Adobe Audition where I go through and show you how I do all the matching and how I kind of work on the voice to sound really quality, then do let me know in the comment section below, and I'll make another whole separate video on that, going into details as to the true technicalities when it comes to doing all the matching of the volumes of the sounds in the video. I am OBL Junior. If you do have any further questions, leave them in the comment section below or DM me on Instagram at OBL_Junior, and I will gladly respond to every single one of your messages. And like we do it as always on this channel, guys. Until next time, as always, keep practicing filmmaking. Peace out.